Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, December 27th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern. Remind everybody we'll have a Time for Change call this Wednesday on this line at 9 p.m. Eastern. We will not have a reverse aging call as that it is New Year's Eve. The mind turned inwards is the self turned outwards. It becomes the ego and all the world, Ramana Maharishi. In each moment of this life, we have the choice, all of us do, to respond to life from a completely new, alive, and freeing space that is born in the now. We can react from an old consciousness conditioned pattern that stems from a past story. Choice is always ours in each second if we respond from a fresh place of freedom or from a past conditioning. The type of story we're talking about is not that enjoyable fantasy fairy tale story that we all enjoy listening to around the campfire. It's that one that we drag around like an old ball and chain attached to a heavily shielded yet wounded heart. The infamous victim story is one most of us know all too well. It's the one that is fixated on how another wronged us, or how we are struggling with money, or unable to find the love of our life, or create the career we really want. We often unconsciously believe that by repeating the story over and over and over again, it will help us to escape it, transcend it, or feel better about our poor, lonely, victimized self. What really happens is that by repeating that which we do want to manifest in our lives, we simply become more wrapped up in the ego's illusions of being trapped, helpless and powerless. The good news is that we always have the power to transcend our story if we can become conscious enough to see who or what is truly creating it. It's good to know that all of our stories were created by some life event, big or small, that actually happened. The event naturally occurred. Then the mind took over and invented its special, specific, positive or negative meaning on top of the actual event. So we invite everyone to take this entire week to write down and notice all the stories you tend to repeat in your mind and to other people. This is a very powerful, life-changing exercise. Notice if they are positive or negative stories. And who would you be without any of these stories? These stories stick because something happened in your life that your mind judged as wrong or absolutely always right, and found some sort of peace within that perception. However, when you hold on to any thought or idea about this life too tightly, you become overly attached and miss this amazing universe that's happening now. Attachment always leads to some future suffering, and it's always your choice if you want to be free and manifest more of the amazing goodies or be stuck with the same old small tune. Keeping a story from your past alive takes a lot of work and will drain all of your energy. Keeping a story from your past alive takes a lot of work and will drain all of your energy. It will keep you living in the illusion and never awaken to the divinity within your being. This illusionary mind loves to create stories about stories. Heck, you may even be creating a story about this experience and exploration of stories. The reality is that you are not this mind, nor your ego, nor your body, and certainly not an accumulation of all your stories. We are all much more than can be expressed in words. We are an infinite soul beyond the ideas of freedom and love. We are and always will be so much vaster than any story your ego could invent. We will continue to exist long after this story has been forgotten by you and the world. Our being is naturally expansive and completely free. We have just been covering up our true infinite nature with stories. The tricky part in transcending any story is that our ego loves the drama of an emotionally juicy adventure. It's like chocolate ice cream to a child. Our life's traumas and deep issues are so personal, wild, and crazy, and feel so real that they often make us feel unique, that we are even someone superior or special. The truth is that everyone was born uniquely super special, and we all have the same core issues deep inside. These core issues are about being unloved, unwanted, abandoned, and unworthy. What a great recipe to instigate massive transformation in one's lifetime. Now, you may find yourself sticking to these issues because the mind gets busy entertaining the victim story instead of being truly curious about recognizing your divine infinite nature. These personal issues can make up a major part of who we think we are. So to let go of them in many ways can feel like letting go of your entire identity. If you dropped a story, you would have to do the scariest thing of all. You'd need to totally reinvent yourself. Maybe this isn't such a bad thing. You could choose to only be loved, free, powerful, and without any limitations. Is this a challenge you would be willing to take on? Letting go of your story may feel like dying, yet in the end, there is no death without some kind of rebirth. So how does one truly transcend their story? Just watch it. Don't participate in it. Notice if you are focusing on what you want or don't want. See how present you are to the now moment, or just reprogramming yourself with more illusions from your past. The experience you have will always be created from your personal interpretation and universal perception. If you find that you are really stuck, that you're really stuck, the experience you have will always be created from your personal interpretation and universal perception. If you find that you're really, really, really stuck, putting energy into how you aren't enough of this or that, you may simply need some tools to shift your experience. Stop retelling your story. When you hear yourself telling somebody your famous story that makes you feel small, powerless, or less than blind, immediately stop yourself, even if you are in mid-sentence. As soon as you stop repeating your story, you stop giving it energy, and the story soon withers away. Imagine a big red stop sign in front of you, and simply stop the mouth from talking. Don't move a muscle. still and silent and investigate deeper inside to discover where this story is coming from and what this part of you actually is yearning to feel, be, do, or have. Become an archaeologist, explorer, and start digging. If you're socializing while you are storytelling, you need some space to do the digging. Gently remove yourself from the situation. Go sit in the bathroom. Investigate the source of this saboteur. It is worth it. These stories can run our lives or transform them. If we take time to really look at our stories, we would discover what it takes to transcend them completely by simply seeing how our stories are an illusion of the past that the ego is stubbornly holding on to. We are instantly free of it. Take 5 steps back from your story. Freedom comes from finding the space between you and your story. When your story arises and you feel it pulling you in, imagine that you are taking 5 large steps away from your story, just as if you were stepping back from an angry person, growling dog, or some feisty child who has had too much sugar. Take one small step. If you cannot take a large one, take one small step. And with each step, take a deep breath of air and become the observer. Look at your story like you were watching a movie or TV show. Recognize that it's just that. Some drama being played over and over and over on our ego's video screen. Now that we are separate from the story, it is easier to see the truth of it and be free from it. Replace your story with absolute gratitude. When we identify our stories that we are most attached to, the one that we repeat most often with ourselves, each time we start repeating it, simply state one thing that you are grateful for instead. Refocus your mind on what is working in your life and what you are grateful for right now. There are literally thousands and thousands of things that you can be grateful for, no matter where you are or who you are. You can be grateful that the sun rose this morning to heat our planet, that we have clean drinking water, or that we are breathing with life in this moment instead of dying. The list goes on and on and on. Just look around at this world and notice the beauty, detail, and exquisite abundance. The more time we spend in gratitude, the faster our ego stories will die and become distant memories. When we are in a place of gratitude, we automatically send out positive, energetic vibrations, which in turn magnetize to us the kind of positive, uplifting things we desire, we want to manifest. Once we leave our stories behind, we can see the truth of our existence and experience total freedom from our ego's suffering and limiting beliefs. This exercise will help each of us become liberated once and for all from our stories. So it's a matter of just going for it and knowing that we can do it. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted. I'm sure that we all are. And the first thing, always the first thing, is to relax our bodies. And we know that we are not the body. For this civilization, collectively, to understand that is paramount. We are not the name, not the personality. We are not the body, not the clothes, not the belongings, not the status. We are the God within this body, in the very body that you're in. You're God in the body. So doesn't it make sense that once we do come and it attracts everything. And when we enter these bodies, what do we inherit? Ego, mind, right? Subconscious mind. And the body absorbs all of these things. But our body's a baby body. And we enter it. We power it up with our soul. What happens? Every conversation, every communication, all of those outside of you, all of their ideas, all of their talking, everything, all their thoughts, your body absorbs. That doesn't mean that you know this right away. But as life continues, as the body ages, more and more absorbed. And after a while, you're all faced with tens of millions of programmed thoughts that aren't ours. They're other people's thoughts. And they float by in the sky. And that's why a lot of us will have thoughts come in. They come in. This is how the body has a tough time relaxing. Because these thoughts come in, and they're so tricky, and they're so slick through the ego mind that we believe that they're our thoughts. When a thought comes in, it isn't yours. When a thought goes out, it is yours. Simply being cognizant, I'm sending this thought out. This is my thought that I generated. You will get to the point where you will identify without judgment, without anger. You'll be grateful that you're able to identify the fact that these thoughts aren't mine. Even though they have your name on them, it just flows in. They're not yours. In fact, 99 plus % of the thoughts that we pull in are not ours. They're other people's thoughts. So this is when we understand this body, then we can understand why the body gets so tense and stressful, angry, fed up, and all kinds of things come in. Hatred, greed, anger, frustration, revenge, all kinds of stuff. And the body gets tenser, heavier. You'll know it when you feel heavy, when your body feels heavy. And it's not so much, I'm not talking about a weight heavy. It's an energy, a pulling. So you surrender that stuff. Surrendering is not losing or giving up. You're just letting go of stuff. And you ask yourself, what do I need this stuff for? Why do I need to worry? What are these worries I'm worried about? And if you just look at these worries, you can just set them all on the couch. Okay, worry number one, you're up. And you say that worry. Yeah. What are you here for? Why am I worried about this? A lot of us leave the body and we float around the void because we really don't know who and what we are. Because we didn't learn in physical form. So then we just kind of float around and say, why did I take all that time while I was in physical form? Why did I do that? Worrying, stressing, fearing. And none of us are exempt from it. I haven't met anybody yet that is totally exempt from it. It isn't a bad thing. It's acknowledging it. And when you face these things, they just vanish. The body begins to lighten. You focus on your breath. And easy in through the nose, easy out through the mouth. You focus on your breath, which moves you in the now. It actually moves us into the now. Our breath is the now. And look at how much we take our breath for granted. A lot. Some of us even forget to breathe. When we move our body, ourselves into the now, all that mind chatter that we all have, that noise, incessant, millions of thoughts flowing constantly, 24/7, gone. And the now, it's not there. And all of your thoughts of worry, stress, fear, gone. They're not there. Only in the now. I'm not saying that it's a cinch to be in the now. Because for most of us,
because we're so used to being distracted. Remember those program thoughts? We grab onto one of those clouds passing by in the sky, and we take that thought and move that thought into form, and we create it into reality, and we experience it. And it's so imperative that we are gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves at all times, and that we live in eternal gratitude at all times. If you start getting angry, the body gets stressed up, tense, you get upset about something. You could get upset about stubbing your toe and have a downward spiral the whole day. You don't get upset because you come out of the market and you see a scratch on your product. And you say, I'm deeply grateful that I have a vehicle that can be scratched. And this may sound really odd to some people. The reason it's odd is because we haven't been there so long. It is our natural state of being to be in full deep gratitude. You'd be amazed on how you shift your frequency when you're 24/7 in deep gratitude. Humble. And humble doesn't mean weak. It means exceptionally powerful. So when we discover this, it's for us to decide. No one's going to decide it for us. So we decide, I'm going to go within. I've really had enough going outside of myself. I'm going to relax my body. I'm going to do my best to keep it in a state of relaxation. You can do this walking down the street, sitting in the park, being in conversation with people. Now, we know that the breath brings us into the now. In the now, we create our futures in the now. Everything happens in the now, moment to moment. And we find ourselves standing on three circles, three golden circles. And most of us start out in the center circle, which is the now. And that path looks absolutely pristine, looks brand new. If you look at all three of the paths, you see these trees that have formed this canopy, and they're all golden. And the leaves are golden, and the branches are golden, the bark's golden, and they're just shimmering. And so they form this canopy, and the pathway is a vibrant, brilliant, emerald green light. See? And it's grass, but it shimmers. Now, the center path, the now, looks new. We look to the left, and we see the past path. Same path, same emerald green, vibrant, same gold shimmer trees. And it's used. You can tell it's been very, very much used. And then the one on the right is the future path, which has been very much used. Now, we all reminisce, we all have memories, we all have fun with them. Now, we'll go into our subconscious minds, which is our own private library, and we'll just go through stuff. We'll pick the volumes off the shelf. Oh, gosh, I remember this. This was really fun. I'd like to do that again. Oh, you remember when? And even things that, we just didn't have too good of a time with her there, too, and we kind of view those at times. But we don't stay there. We put the volume down, the pictures away, and we leave the room and shut the door and turn the light off. But some of us, and I don't believe it's consciously aware, we'll go in that past and we'll stay there. And we stay there so long that we bring the past into a future that doesn't exist. When we create that future from that past, and we relive that past and that future. That's why a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, all of us go into the future, right? We wonder what if this happens? Or when am I going to meet the right person for a relationship? When am I going to be healthy enough to enjoy my life? When am I going to have the right job? When am I going to have enough money to enjoy my life? When am I going to get a better boss? And you know what? I don't believe any of us are exempt from that we do that. It's not a bad thing. But all along, there is the now, the center path. So we always know how to be in the now. Focus on your breath. Listen to your breath. And to some, that sounds a little strange too, because they aren't used to it. And they don't realize that it's their natural state of being. But it's habit. We all know that. We practice things and we get used to doing them, and then they're all automatic. So we can say, I've wandered off into someone else's thoughts 9 times out of 10. So I'm going to focus on my breath and I'll be in the now. And you'll notice how the body responds because it starts to feel lighter. You're not engaged with and interacting with the ego mind because you still the ego mind by being in the now. You don't participate in it. Say, you leave them alone. You leave the mind alone. You leave the ego alone. You leave the subconscious mind alone. You watch. Just watch them. Don't judge them. You just watch them. The only way we'll master them is to watch them, to see how they operate. It's just like knowing that that's ego. When you're thinking and you identify one of your thoughts as ego. And as soon as you've identified it through the heart mind, without judging it, it's gone. It vanishes as quickly as it came. And you'll be able to get, and it's not about being critical of yourself. Remember, gentle, kind, generous, and humble, and deep gratitude. But you'll get so efficient and effective with it that you'll sense it through your heart mind. But if it's an ego thought, to be something, to be someone is ego thought. To be powerful and controlling, that's ego. For us to always have to perform against ourselves. To win, succeed, strive, ego thoughts. Those are all ego. It's when the body responds really, it's a very good measuring tool. Because when it's light, you're on target. When it's not, you're off target. It's just like people on this planet have been taught to believe that there's sin. There's just karma. There's no such thing as sin. Sin, when you study the word, means that you just simply missed the target. Look at all years and generations of all of us, thousands and thousands and thousands of years being taught that we are sinners. Guilt, depression, anxiety, you see all the suffering, worry, stress, fear. This is all ego mind. And part of the participation from the subconscious mind stores everything. Now, we know, consciously aware, people say, what the heck does consciously aware mean? We know that we are of and from the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal love. This is where we're consciously aware. Which means we know we are the God within the body and not the body. That doesn't mean that we fully grasp it. It means that we have now started the journey within to discover all of it. But that's a start. That's why I say, to a certain extent, consciously aware to a certain extent. We know that we're the soul, the God source, pure consciousness, the kingdom of God, heaven, however you want to name it. bodies Earth. And we know we enter these bodies and we power them. We're the power source, the life that gives these bodies energy. We are. The body does not function and cannot function on its own. When it's in the mother's womb, her soul is power. And when it comes out, your soul is power. Lungs, heart, blood, everything. But remember, it isn't the physical vessel that's the life. It is the God within it that gives it the life. When you can truly sense and feel the God in others, then you are free. Free from the physical, material world that we all created to entertain ourselves. This is entertainment, that's all it is. And we learn by inhabiting different physical forms. And since we are the God, we are divine perfection. So the soul is divine perfection. The soul doesn't change. Everything else changes. Sure, we can move to higher divine perfection, but we're the only thing that doesn't change. The gods that we are. Hold on, everyone. I'll be right back.
So we literally are heaven on earth. The soul is the heaven, the body is the earth. And every step we take, we are created paradise, literally. Not only that, we've learned to shine our light, which is the God force, love, light, energy within each and every one of us. 360 degrees everywhere. And we are blasting it onto everyone, all life, the highest supreme value in the universes. 24/7 infinity. And we may in this life learn that when we choose to leave the body, we will know that we are the light, that we don't follow a light, that we are the light. That's a biggie. Now, if you were to take a starship outside the planet in the outer space, far enough out so you could see the planet, you would discover it glowed. I mean, there's 8 billion gods on this planet. Some awake, some not, to a certain extent. And you'd see that it glowed, but you'd also notice that all the lights in the universe, this universe, were almost like a candle, a lit candle in a dark room. Dim, dim. We also know that there are parts of ourselves, the gods that we are, not the body, but the gods that we are that are asleep. Now, they'll wake up when they choose to wake up. But the other parts of us that are awake are the ones we learn from, the ones you either teach or learn from. And this is all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. This is the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Moria, Abundancia, Pel, Ha, Yah, Yeshua, all of the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, beneath earth, Agartha, all of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. the off-worlders, galactics, and celestials. Now, the archangels, they're a civilization that vibrated at a different frequency than we do. That's why we don't see them like we see each other. But a stranger could come pass you by, make a wonderful comment to you, and at times you pick up and say, that was an angel. Complete stranger. Other times you could be anywhere and you have a conversation with a complete stranger. But it's different, say. You kind of sense it. And when you're done, it could be 5 minutes, could be a few minutes. Sometimes we will say that was an angel. And you'll experience kind of a warm feeling in the heart center. Bliss. Or have you ever been in a situation where you didn't verbally say it to you, you just thought it, where you said, boy, it sure would be great if I had an extra pair of hands right now, or if someone was around to help with this. And before you know it, and a lot of times we don't correlate it, but before you know it, someone shows up out of clear blue. Can I give you a hand with that? Yeah, absolutely, I appreciate it. And sometimes we'll say to ourselves, because we look away and we look back and they're gone. Nowhere to be found. No cars pulling out. You might be in a parking lot. And you look and there's nobody on the right of you, nobody on the left of you, on the aisle or wherever you were. And then you'll say, that was an angel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, they all have the same message, but they send it and deliver it in many different ways. And what it all comes down to is isn't it absolutely magna glorious to be alive in these bodies? And it is. It's bliss. Because as gods, we don't think about this. Because a lot of us don't even know that we're a god in the body. We think we're the body. But what we realize is that we're not the body. That when we're not in these bodies, we don't taste, touch, laugh, cry. We don't take a walk in the park. We don't see the birds and trees in nature. It's not like that. It's totally different. We don't enjoy a good meal, have a turkey sandwich. None of that stuff. So you see the conundrum where we as gods enter the body, get amnesia, and forget what we are, and then we turn around and learn and rediscover that we are the gods in the body. Isn't that amazing? And this cycle keeps repeating itself. And the more we discover that we are the God in the body, the less that cycle will repeat itself. And it'll be your choosing where you desire to go, what physical form you want to experience. And this trap that we've been in for so long on this planet will be ended by us, the gods that we are. Now, they can surround any one of us at any one time in the tens of thousands or tens of millions. Reason is because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. Now, the ascended masters, they have ascended into physical, mastered physical, ascended out of physical, hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical, are in the process of mastering physical, are creating our experiences to perfect our creation. Now, all the light energy beings, on, in, above, below this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. With the eyes that we have with these bodies, we only see 1% of what is. So we don't see a lot of this. The different light spectrums, violet, ultraviolet, red, infrared, but they're there. Shapes, color, sizes, forms, configurations. There is a small group that we intimately interact with part of it on a daily basis. The fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur. Now we know that these bodies we're in could not operate without air. We'd have to leave them. Couldn't operate without water. We'd have to leave them. What about no soil? We'd have to leave them. Wood? We'd have to leave them. These are things that we don't identify with because we're so busy in the external world, the material, physical world, thinking that we are the physical. And we're not. Far from it. Now, the off-worlders, the galactics, the celestials. Over 1,000 species travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. But there is a small group that we are familiar with. Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Feline, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. Now, this particular group has been assisting us in our evolution, enlightenment, ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. And we're in the Gugaplexus because we're one. All the gods in all physical form and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever are one, which in turn is the one God. All right? All of us gods make up the one God. All-knowing, all-seeing. And we're parts of the one God, learning, teaching, learning. It's what we do, creating, manifesting. And a Gugaplex fills this universe with not even 1 square inch of sacred space to spare. And these are trillions of Gugaplexes from trillions of universes, all connected, all one, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. We're all one. We're all God. And we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy isn't all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond and forever. And it continues to intensify. And it continues to expand and grow. We immediately form a circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This light emanates from the God force, the God source, which is in each and every single one of us. It is of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, purest of the purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. And it's flooding this planet. All life, the highest supreme value in the universe is on it, in it, above it, below it. It never ends. It's infinity, saturating, flooding, and soaking. No lower dark matter, survival matter frequency can evade it. It is consumed by it, and it is no more. We begin to ascend above the planet. As we do, we're met with this massive ocean of glitter. And this is huge. It's everywhere. And we're kind of floating in it. The best way to describe it is that a magnificent grand finale fireworks display, which we've never even come close to seeing, and a light laser energy display, which we've never come close to seeing, and then a ballroom globe, a mirror globe like you see in a ballroom. It slowly turns and reflects the light. Except this one is 1 trillion times bigger and 1 trillion times more intense. You combine all that, this is the ocean of glitter. It's absolutely magnificent. And we're curious, so we go to the points of reflection. And we get, as close as we get, we discover these little microscopic, perfectly etched mirrors that we enter. And we enter them, and we discover that all of us, inhabiting physical form, or any form for that matter, are teaching and learning. We're either student or teacher or student, or both, from each other. Because remember, we've been tricked so long. We think the tree is life, but it is the God within the tree is life. It's what gives the tree life. It's with anything. The body of a dog is not life. It's the God within it. It powers that body. So God experiences it, just like we do with these bodies. And we're learning from parts of ourselves. Look at how many of us for so long have been tricked into believing the opposite. There's nothing in there. That's the tree. That's the life, the tree. But when we go within and we've learned enough of going outside of ourselves, that the answers aren't anywhere out there. They're all within us. Answers to all of our questions. Answers to great abundance. Answers to the best friend that you'll ever have, the universe. We're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that we are the power of healing. Then we're met with the violet blue purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we are protected with a white fire armor. Infinity so. No lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies, no demon possession or attachments. Our frequency is so high, they can't come near us. If they do, they'll vaporize. So they stay away. So we're protected through infinity. But only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency low enough, whether consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, greed, anger, fear, envy, hurry, revenge, dishonesty, manipulation, you will create a breach in your white fire armor, enough so to allow lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light. First part of this column is the purple transmuting flame. We created this part of the column to remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all of these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them to pure consciousness where they are, no more. Second part of this column of light is the violet ray. We created this column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies once were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is a column of light that we created, the gods that we are in these bodies, to remind us all that we are the sun. We are the sunlight. We are the sun sets and the sun rises. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We are the clouds and the sky. We are the trees and the forests, the soils and the animals. We are the mountains. We are the snow, the rain. We're everything, and everything is us. So the next time you do view an ocean front, a fresh snow, a starry lit night sky, a sunset, a sunrise, a rainbow, it's you. Always has been the God that you are in that body. Always will be, ever beyond and forever. So next time you do view this, instead of saying, isn't that beautiful? That is the God that I am. It's a whole different experience. And it is through the heart mind. It has nothing to do with the ego mind. We continue to descend above this planet. As we do, some of us step outside our physical form and hover effortlessly above it if we're carrying physical form. And why do we do this? Because it's fun and we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower that we created, and it's larger than the solar system and beyond. In the center of the column, we see this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a golden white ball of light. It is surrounded by infinite multicolored rings of light. Seems like they never end. And they're all creating this super bright white mist cloud. It's sparkling, and it looks like there's little bolts of lightning in it. And it's beautiful, magnificent, magniglorious. And it absorbs into us through our heart minds, through our chest. And it is like a warm embrace that never ends. And the golden ball, the golden white ball of light, is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest. Eternal love. Then comes gratitude. Then comes peace. Well-being. Gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. Bliss, joy. Tranquility, benevolence. Supreme abundance. Supreme prosperity. And we discover that all of it is a reflection of the gods that we are in these bodies. At the top of this crystalline light tower, we designed it so the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees like it's doing right now throughout infinity. This is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, the purest of the purest purest of eternal love. And we're swimming in it, and it is flooding the planet, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. Never ending. We are all drops of this golden ocean. We also hold its essence. Golden ocean is a drops of the golden ocean. And the only illusion is separation. We see our meditative sphere. This is that center circle. We all created this sphere almost 4 years ago. It houses over 1,700 of our meditations in perpetual motion. All of us gathered, hundreds of millions of us, on and off world, consciously aware, to a certain extent, focused on this planet in its complete liberation. You can feel those meditations. You can be in them anytime you choose. And you begin to understand more and more in each meditation that you are the God in that body. That you are not that body. You are not your name, your personality, your character, your belongings, your status. You are the God, which is deep, eternal love. I'll join you in the meditation and return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Move easily and slowly. Really, really, really relax today. Breathe in the affirmation, I am safe, I am loved. All is well in my world. Let these words sink deep into your bodies. Stay alert, yet in the flow. Allow any calming energy to grow and spread throughout your body. The easiness of being absorbs each thought that arises in the mind. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and following morning, and we will return here Tuesday, December 28th, 2021, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.